check your fucking, whoa, your sack. My balls is totally moving, new and improving. Now can we get back up? My balls is totally doing it, speaking and doing it, ready to take us to the top. Welcome to fucking my show. Did you know that your mom is on? Welcome to the show, cocksuckers. We have a fucking tremendous show ahead of us, and we have a guest who's also tremendous. Ryan Sickler, RyanSickler.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I like your show, Honeydew, and I like the way that you have your plugs, and I'm never done podcasting, and I was like, this guy, when he's delivering it, the package, I started listening to your show, listening to everybody's podcast, and I'm like, your one is easy for me. I like it. It makes sense. It's a really good concept, and you do it like a seasoned veteran where I'm like, if I could get it down to this guy, seems like you remind me of how I had it in Sirius where I knew everything about what I was doing and it was easy peasy. And you look like you're having a casual time. And I wanted to know, first of all, what made you do that? Where'd you come up with the idea of the podcast where people tell stories like that?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you because that means a shitload coming from you, someone who's done this at a level that you've done this at and still doing this again. Like, I'm blown away to hear you say that. And also, again, thank you. We were outside having a little convo and you said you got a lot of love from that show, and you did, dude.
The most out of all podcasting guest spots I've ever had. You destroyed everything. I just want to be your co-host, and I think the show will be okay.
I'll do a show with you, bro. I'll do a show.
I'm ready to. I just told you before the show. I'm doing shows. Got a good idea? Let's do it. I got time. Yeah. So where'd you get the idea?
Well, I podcasted for years with my partner back in the day, Jay Larson, on the Crab Feast, which was a generic storytelling show. And then when he wanted to move on, I had to really think about it. I was like, what do I love? And I love storytelling is absolutely my favorite thing. To not only to do, but to listen to. There's nothing I love more than a good story.
Yeah.
And someone who tells it well. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I don't know how deep we're going to get into my shit, but my mother split from the family early on. My father died when I was 16. Myself and my two brothers have been on our own since then. And every time there would be an opportunity for someone in the family to take us in, help us out, and they would throw us the fuck away. Perfectly good kids. You know, I got a 3.0 in high school. I still went to college, graduated college with a 3.0. Like, I did what I was supposed to fucking do. At least what I thought.
Yeah.
And one night I'm sitting at this diner, I'm having dinner, and they bring me my food, and they bring that little fucking side of fruit with red grapes and pineapple and honeydew.
Yeah.
And I eat the bowl. And without thinking about it, I don't eat the honeydew. I don't even like red grapes, but I ate the red grapes and I didn't eat the honeydew because it's not like I have this passion against it. I just don't fuck with honeydew.
A lot of people don't do that.
Exactly. And I'm walking out of the diner and I just happen to look and I just see tables full of honeydew left. And I was like, that's a perfectly good fruit that most people just don't fuck with. And I was like, oh my God. I'm a fucking honeydew.
Oh, wow.
And that's where it came from, me wanting to talk to perfectly good people like yourself who have been thrown away, passed over, the underdog, always overlooked, picked last, whatever your lot in life is. But the difference was I call it highlighting the lowlights. I don't want you to come in. Look, you need to cry. You need to get shit out in your life. You need therapy. We all need help. But I want to talk to people who were in a place where they can put a funny spin on their trauma, right? Because there are special people that can do that. Not everyone can do that. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol and suicide and you name it, addiction. And not that we don't, but we absolutely, and it's given me a new love for comedians too, and comedic people to put.
Because they're the perfect people for this.
In
my short like stint of being around comedians, you guys are dark as fuck.
Dark as fuck.
But the funniest people in the world. So there's such a huge possibility of you having the saddest story with the funniest ending on it.
Yes.
Out of everybody.
Ever. Bring you all the way down and then boom, in one snap. Like your line that you said to me, and we talked about this outside. I said to you, when's the first time you had sex? And your response was, the first time I sucked a dick was when I was 3. And I'm just like, and again, with your accent and everything, I'm over there like, please, did I hear that? And then right after that, you say, that's a t-shirt, isn't it? And I mean, boom, boom, like that. That's what I love about comedians. That's what I love about the show. And I could sit and listen to people talk about their worst problems with a comedic spin on it all fucking day. I love what I do.
Yeah, you can tell.
Ryan, in your experience, what percentage of comedians aren't incredibly dark people? The cliche is that they're all like that. What percentage of them do you know? Most of the community out here in Los Angeles, at least, if not nationally, don't have a massive black hole at their core?
None. I mean, we're not normal people. It's not normal. Whatever that is. First of all, I don't think there is a normal. Every single person, from priest to police to teacher to nurse to doctor to whatever you are, trash man, whatever, has some kind of fucked up thing about them. I don't think there's a normal. But if there was a normal and there were all these boxes ticked, it's certainly not normal to want to get up in front of an audience of hundreds or thousands of strangers and immediately make them laugh. That's not normal to do that. I think it's an amazing gift and an awesome thing to be able to do and to, a gift to give, but it's not normal to do that.
What do you think is wrong with Jerry Seinfeld?
Wow, I wasn't sure where you were going, but now it makes sense. Because he doesn't seem like that.
And he does in his way. He's very, very, very analytical to the point of being very cold. I think I've heard him talk about parenting his kids, where he's like, I don't get mad. I just told him, hey, you broke the rules. I'm just as disappointed as you are. You're grounded for 6 months. Sorry, bud. And he just walks off and eats Cheerios. And it's like, I could see his kids being in therapy someday saying, I'm not even sure there's a human being in there. I've been living with this guy for 20 years. So that's kind of my clue on him. But every other big name that I was thinking about as you were saying that, I'm like, I can think of what's wrong with Carrot Top. I can think of what's wrong with Gilbert Gottfried. Seinfeld is the one that I've always been like, maybe he just likes getting up on stage and telling jokes.
He loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a purist. He believes in, if you ever watched, I thought it was supposed to be a series, but it was Chris Rock, it was Seinfeld, Louis C.K., and Ricky Gervais. It was this HBO series. I thought it was going to be a series. It ended up being a one-off, but they all sit down and talk about comedy. And Seinfeld, and look, I'm paraphrasing here, so don't come at me online, but Seinfeld's philosophy was that Louis was watering down or ruining comedy by putting a special out every year. Seinfeld believed in the act, and people come to see the hits, and you build that act for 10, 15 years, and that's the act. You do the act. When you're done retiring the act, that's when you start what Louis is doing. But Louis and that other crop of comedians felt like every year was worthy of a special. And maybe for some, absolutely for some. I don't know. I think it helped water down comedy, to be honest. I think you got a lot of good comedy instead of great comedy, because not everyone can do that. Some comedians can do that, and a very few, I think, can do that at a high level. Because, when I grew up, George Carlin was the most prolific writer in comedy, and he would do a special, every 3-4 years, and that to me feels right. But I'm also 47. I'm not the younger crop of these kids coming up that are, they've had social media their whole life. So there's content for them. And it used to be like, man, have you ever fucking heard Jason Ellis? You got to go see this guy live. You got to get his cassette or his album or whatever. Now I can go on and get Jason Ellis myself or Seinfeld, and be sick of them in 5 fucking minutes because I've just seen every fucking thing you did right here at the click of my fucking hand, you know?
I can't believe anybody is successful doing anything in entertainment these days.
There you go. Stay positive, Kevin. All the way to the top. Here we go, everybody.
Just getting off the ground, guys.
I think we've all been
Swipe up,
that.
everybody. I mean, wow.
Well, I mean, what I was trying to say with that is
Hot air balloons
there's
on
so much.
fire. It's on fire.
There's so much. Like you said, there's so many people doing stand-up. There's so many podcasts. There's fucking 5 billion YouTubers, and there are YouTubers we've never heard of and likely never will hear of that are fucking mega millionaires.
There are kids opening packages at 1 billion views. You know, like, we'll never fuck with that. We're never going to fuck with the opening of a package.
We could flaming box openings or something. Everything we open has fire.
Just
in
could
it.
explode.
Set my head on fire while I play with this Ninja Turtle.
We only do an episode every 3 years because we recover from injuries from the first box. But boy, it's a hell of a show. Cool Ven. Everybody, the compartment thing that you can have hot food and cold food, or cold drinks and hot drinks. You know what? I've never had a coffee that I put in the hot plate to make a coffee stay hot. I don't know if that works, but I have heated up bacon in it. And then somebody else posted a video the other day where they cooked a steak on it in their house from raw, I don't know how he did it, but he used the hot plate to actually get a steak cooked and put teriyaki sauce on it and stuff.
Oh.
I checked out the video. So
And his wedge salad stayed icy cold beneath it the entire time.
He seemed like an advanced guy. I don't know if I recommend that, but you can go that far. It keeps stuff cool and hot. It operates under 110 or 12 volt applications, and you can get them at cool-ven.com. And for a list of retailers, and order yourself one and use code Ellis at checkout for 10% off. And of course, why not go to leanfeast.com while you're at it so that you can get meals sent to your house that are all made, ready and prepared. And they have all kinds of stuff on the menu that is not for people that are trying to be crazy disciplined. Like they have normal food like lasagnas and donuts and things like that. So it's not like, rice and fish 4 times a day. It's like a bunch of stuff where you don't feel like you're cheating. It'll keep you lean, get you in shape, and it's very convenient. You have it with you at all times. Some of the stuff is like 40 seconds. Donut, they suggest you heat it up. It does taste better. They got pizza, everything. So leanfeast.com. And once again, promo code Ellis for another 10% off on Lean Feast. Thanks to both those guys for sponsoring the show. Did we meet a long time ago at a comedy store, at a comedy place?
You did.
You were like, you like befriended me and said, "Hey man, if you wanted to try an open mic," and you gave me your card. Did that ever happen?
It may have happened, but
Are you that kind of guy?
I didn't have a card. I never had a card.
Why does Tully think it was too?
I believe that you were on a show that we did, and you might recall this because it's an unusual venue. There's an Irish bar in Los Angeles called Molly Malone's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's where I met with Tripoli.
Exactly.
Yeah.
with
Tripoli
Sam
brought me in on that.
And Gareth. No, Gareth
Gareth
wasn't
Reynolds.
at that one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But Tripoli, it was his show, but I think he wasn't there that night.
That sounds
I
like
think
Sam.
I went after you, as a matter of fact, too, which was, and I remember you being like, I was like, holy shit, this fucking guy, I got to follow this.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Wait, follow up because I was so bad and it's hard for you to
No.
bring the crowd back
You
up?
were just outraged. No, the crowd was great. I was like, yeah, my material's not, pissing in my ball cups and making chicks
I remember
drink it.
thinking, I don't know if
Which
I
I
wanted-
love, I love sitting in the back, but that is, thank you for reminding me of that. I never had a card, but I may have given you my number.
I know that you, because I was deterred from somebody that went before me who was trying to explain to the crowd that what's the big deal about saying fag. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to be in this, like it's kind of late anyway. I like getting up early. And then you said some stuff afterwards like, hey man, you're really good. You could do something. And I was like, whoa, really? And then because that's how I operate, where I was like, man, I don't feel like I belong here. And then you said something nice. I was like, well, maybe I do. It was I remember the wave of
Look,
going, man, really?
Am I that type of guy with everybody? No. If I see somebody that moves me in some kind of way, I definitely walk up to them and say it. Because Look, I don't care if you're tatted up on your head and everything. We all have our insecurities. And you're just explaining it right now. You judge a book by its cover. You think this guy right here is a fucking badass. I can't go talk to this guy. And you're just over there in your own head worried about whether you're doing well or not. So I learned a long time ago, fuck that. I like walking up to people. Plus, I'm not a networker. I don't fucking lunch and chitty chat and all that shit. But I will walk over to you and say what I say, and then that sticks with you more than that fucking lunch we had that one time where we didn't talk about shit.
And when Tully was like, "Yeah, that's right," and I'm like, "Fuck, it is." I'm like, "No way!" And I'm like,
people stood. There weren't even chairs. People were standing there. I do remember. That's the only time. Matter of fact, it's the only time I've ever done stand up at Molly Malone's. And it was during the football season because I kept ducking out to see what the score was. And I don't remember the game, but I can tell you it was during football season.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Ryan, you're Baltimore guy,
Yes.
right? Jason, I was curious. What does Baltimore mean to you?
Well, it's actually not. I don't do so bad there because I'm friends with Bucky Lassick and Baltimore Crabs. So I know about the crabs there.
Anytime I do crab feasts all the time out here. That's
He
the whole
still
podcast.
You guys, Bucky does the same thing. He gets crabs and makes them in San Diego because he needs to relive his Baltimore roots. And same with Benji and Joel Madden. They're from Baltimore, so I hear stories. So I've been to Bucky's neck of the woods. I went to his proper where you get his crabs or some shit.
Yeah,
the place.
I go to Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the spot. And they ship and they don't charge for shipping. So right now during the pandemic, you can get whatever you get as if you were there. I'm telling you, I've eaten crabs more out here than I would have in Maryland this year.
That's a fucking
I've had like
sweet
deal.
Yeah,
$70 or more they're paying for shipping, and you're definitely spending that. I'm gonna do it again soon when it comes out, and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I like that. But it's a good thing.
I saw you knew Bucky, and this is funny because he's, as you say, he's from Baltimore, and my cousins back in the day lived in Highlandtown. And back then it was Greek Town. It's not that anymore, but they would tell me about this fucking skater from Highlandtown. And I'm like, listen, there's no fucking skater from fucking Baltimore. And then
there is.
And then I see Bucky with the Oriole hat on. I'm like, this is the fucking guy they were telling me about. And I can't get over how great Bucky lays.
I just had a conversation with Tony Hawk about Bucky where he explained to me because we were skating the other day and he was.
I've been watching you get back. I've been watching you do all your shit.
That picture,
singing the Pink, everything. I've been watching you.
That was the coolest fucking picture of you and Tony. I don't know, what was that, a 5-0 stall? What was
frontside pivots next to each other, but our boards hit. And that was he was like, get closer. And I'm like, hey, man, I haven't skated for fucking years. You know what I mean? And I just got a knee replacement. Are you sure? Do we have to? He's like, you'll be okay. And I'm like, do you know if I'll be okay? Because I don't know if I'll be okay. So how do you know? But I didn't post the other one yet. He went over me. And I did a frontside pivot. Well, he went over me. And at one point he started getting angry because I stand up tall. So he had to do like a 6-foot air over my head.
And this is the sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
You two do have a bit of a past of jumping over each other on skate ramps. Right from skate tours, right? From Huck Jam.
Is it happening?
No, that was the
You just
stall.
went down and back there.
But man, when I saw that picture, that looks like it took you guys, I don't know, for somebody who's a bing bong, I was like, that must have taken like 100 tries.
No.
It looks so sick.
I think.
Okay, this looks like the right one because it's in slow-mo.
Took like 4 tries.
Right. Tony, oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Yeah, he's up and over you.
Right? Like almost
And
hit
a
me.
good distance around you, too, once he got around you.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he's
Holy shit. When do you get to post that one?
I can post it whenever I want to. I was just waiting for the actual show to come out because I figured
Oh yeah, that makes
be
sense.
cool to tie it in there. But I feel like I'm gonna start skating down there all the time if I have to go. The studio is at the ramp.
Right.
So it's the same show that first time I ever did radio was with Tony Hawk at his ramp for Sirius XM. And now I'm at his ramp and there's a studio and we're about to do this thing again 17 years later.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. And he's really excited about it, which makes me excited about it because I thought, don't do me any favors, dude. You know, like if you want to do this, that's the only way I want to do this because I don't want to drag you over here. Hey, man, talk to me for an hour and a half. He's all about it. He really doesn't like that the radio thing fell through for him, and he really wants to like come back and show those people that they made a big mistake. But getting back to Bucky,
do you understand also real quick how inspirational that is that guys like you and Tony Hawk are starting at zero again? You know, you're talking about a skater that is the Michael Jordan of fucking skating, and he's going back to zero to start again, like Jordan going
Without
to the minor leagues. Hopefully, y'all do better than Jordan did in the minor leagues. But you know what I'm saying? It might be a bad.
I'll take that.
That might be a bad example. You know what I'm saying?
Don't predict things like that. I can't take it right now. But getting back to Bucky, Tony said at this point, he is still the greatest skateboarder right now. He's the best vert skater alive by far. And he is
that's coming
the
from
same
Tony
age
Hawk.
as me.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And he does everything
a
backwards
Baltimore
now.
legend.
You know that?
What's that?
His new thing is he does everything switch, but almost every trick. So he does inverts, giant aerials, but they're all the opposite stance.
Damn.
So people do switch stuff, they always have, but it's usually little things.
Yeah.
You never doing an 8-foot method air the other way around is crazy. But he does everything. He does things that were inconceivable, and now he does them all the time. I don't understand how he's not sore, how he's like, I don't, he's like, yeah, I'm sore, I put some CBD cream. I'm like, CBD cream? I've had like fucking stem cells and shit. I can't even touch my toes without crying. What do you fucking mean you rub some CBD on
I love it. I'm such a homer. Anything Baltimore, I'm super proud of. So to have the best vert skater in the world be a kid from Baltimore blows my mind, because the total domination of out here, especially California, with all the talent skating. And I said this a bunch too. I've never lived anywhere or even been anywhere in my life where people genuinely use skateboards out here for transportation.
Yeah.
When we skated, it was you skated to the park or you just street skated. I wasn't skating to the store.
No.
You know what I'm watching?
No, those guys
I've seen
were pussies.
girls on longboards with 12 packs rolling down the fucking
That's kind of
hills.
cool.
I love that. That's my favorite.
You know what's cool? When Tony Hawk comes to our old studio and he parks 3 blocks away because we didn't have parking, and then Tony Hawk just skates.
I mean,
from
can you imagine seeing
his car to the studio?
You're like, what the fuck? You wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
People wouldn't believe it.
See, I wanted to ask you about Baltimore because I'm from New Jersey, but I never spent a lot of time there. I think of Baltimore as part of the megalopolis of Philadelphia and Boston and New York, but you strike me as like a Southern kind of guy.
I mean, I get that so much.
Yeah.
And so do the other people I know that have moved out here. I still am told I sound Southern. I'm still...
It's probably the weed.
It just leads me to believe...
He smoked himself Southern. Like Southern.
I smoked myself Southern.
Yeah.
Like
Made yourself...
half Southern, half tard.
Yeah. You're like half an almond brother at this point.
It slowed down just enough to be a little from somewhere else. Accents. Bert Kreischer FaceTimed me last night out of nowhere, and he's in a barbecue, and he goes, "Gotta ask you this question. Are you available? Real quick. Got a predicament I'm in right now." So I can tell he's at a barbecue. There's a group of people, his wife, people like that are out there, and he goes, "Accents. Do you think you have an accent?" I was like, "Well, I mean, kind of, yeah, sure, an Australian one." And he's like, "Tell me this. Does this guy have an accent?" And the camera goes over to a guy, and the guy goes, "Hey, man, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he sounds like an American. He's got an American accent." And they're like, "Okay, good." And they're like, "What?" But it's like, nah, be quiet. Now, Jason, who does this person have? And he goes to his wife, and she says, "Howdy, y'all." And I'm like, "Okay, that's just like a Southern accent. Is it still American?" "Yes, it would be a Southern American accent." "Right, good. Okay, now I need you to look away." Yeah, like this is just fucking out of nowhere. Like, by the way, he never FaceTimes me. I'm like, "Whoa, cool, Bert Kreischer." And he's like, "Look away." I'm like, "All right, I'm looking away." Listen to this accent, and it's someone like, "Hi, I like your bald head, and it's sexy." And I'm like, "Okay." I hope I didn't get in trouble right now when I did that, but I was like, I feel like that is slightly Asian accent. And he goes, "Yes." And then she comes up to the camera like, "You looked." And I'm like, "I was looking at the ground." And so he's like, "So, in closing, these accents, do you agree?" I agree. And then it's like, half the room is like, bullshit. He's like, told ya. Thanks, Jason. Really appreciate it. I'm like, man, I just solved an accent debate between a bunch of people in a backyard. Happy to help.
I get it a lot, but you're not wrong in thinking that like it's really a bit of a mid-Atlantic accent. You're skaters. Bam Margera's got a bit of the same accent. That Philly Baltimore has we draw our O's. Like I say phone, I say home. I don't hear it. I think I sound like you do, but I know it now because it's been said to me for 20 fucking years. You know, we swallow L's. People say, they'll drop their TH. They'll say is and that and owie and college. You know, that's
it's like
that's a
Elmer
real
Fudd.
Baltimore accent. Hardcore. I mean, I have a draw.
In
There's
Baltimore, they say
much harder.
college, like Elmer Fudd would say it.
Yeah, they'll say if I'm gonna say Billy's out in the alley, he's thinking about going to college. I'll say that in a Baltimore accent.
Go on. This is bullshit, but
It's kind of, and I really think that this comes from the days of like the British coming over and people just bastardizing that fucking Cockney accent and shit. But they'll say, Billy's out in the alley right now, and he's really thinking about going to college. That is a fucking Baltimore.
You know what's weird is it sounds.
Billy.
I graduated from college.
Billy, hey,
Right?
Summa cum laude.
Lando Calrissian. You know who Lando Calrissian is, right?
Is he in Star Wars?
Who played him? Do you know who played him?
Billy D. Williams.
Billy in Baltimore. His name is Billy D. Weems. It's not even Williams. It's Weems, and you can hear it if you say it in your head. But it's that guy played Billy D. Weems.
Okay,
That's Billy.
settle an old Jason Ellis show debate.
You guys are like in your own little planet, man.
I'm telling you, dude. Baltimore accent.
As a guy with an accent,
If
that
you
one
watch
is
The
weird.
Wire, there are about 3 or 4 genuine dudes that you're like, that guy's from Baltimore, and he probably walked to the fucking set that morning. You know,
Settle an old Jason Ellis show debate.
Okay.
What is the proper way to say crabs?
crabs.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
It's not crabes.
Hell no.
I knew that.
Yeah.
The person he was mentally disabled.
Okay, yeah.
He claimed to be from both.
The fact that you even try to continue the argument when you go, it's crabs. And I'm like, there's no way it is. No one ever
Just
says that
crabs.
in the world. And just no. And then you just continue the argument. No, I'm pretty sure if you go to Baltimore, you'll find, I'm like, Bucky Lassick, he took me to a crab shack.
Yeah.
And fed me crabs. He said the word crab several times. And I'm a ball buster. If he had said, Jason, let's get some crabs, I would have gone, what?
Yeah, what the-
What happened to your voice when you said crabs?
Yeah,
It's like someone put a finger up your ass right when you went to say it.
I've heard people from Baltimore talk about crabs. It's like 50% of what you guys talk about.
Listen, it is
Bashing him.
an absolute living there. Like there's so many people that work in the crab industry. Going back to that Jimmy's restaurant, they fought Peta. Peta came into Baltimore and put these billboards up that said, "Don't eat me, I'm not meat," or some bullshit. And they were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like literally, the crabbing industry in Maryland is massive, and it's very, I don't want to say Forrest Gumpish with the shrimp shit, but you can go to any restaurant in Maryland and get some dish that's served with crab. You can get a side of crab put on the shit. Like it is, like you say, but you go. Look, I miss driving to a shack on the side of the road, getting a dozen on a Tuesday. That's how you say Tuesday, and going and just
We say
steaming 'em up.
Tuesday.
Chew.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
a fucking CH and tuna.
Tuna.
I'm like, tuna. As an illiterate moron, because I usually, especially when I was growing up, 4 letters is the max for me. Like I'd
Yeah.
be like, cat, got it. Tuna. Tea. I don't need to know the rest of it. And I always knew that. You want some tuna on that? I'm like, nobody, where?
Tuna.
Who did that to you? How did it twist into that?
We used to also, it's very popular in that region to put an R in wash. So Washington, D.C., washer and dryer, wash your clothes. And I said it. I don't think I changed the way I said wash until I moved out here in like my late 20s, because someone goes, "What are you saying?" I go, Washington, D.C. And they're like, "Spell it." And I'm like, W-A-S-H. And then they go, "Where's the R?" And I go, "Huh?" And then I'm like, oh my God.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here, reminding you of Stay Classy Meats. Now the Jason Ellis Show has all been fortunate enough to have the Stay Classy Meats delivered to their house, and you can too if you go to stayclassymeats.com and use the promo code Ellis for a discount. What did you think, Kevin? I saw you posted you had some bacon the other day. How'd that work?
Oh, it's delicious.
Eh?
I loved it. Yeah.
I made my children bacon for breakfast this morning. I made BLTs for lunch yesterday.
Yeah, they
intermittently interspicing jerky.
Yeah, so it's a grass fed, so all the meat, every meat. So they have all different kinds of meat, chicken, and like all different kinds of different cuts. They have chicken sausages, and they have like what do you call it, like beef jerky. So it's grass fed beef jerky. So to me, I like beef jerky. I don't want to have a Slim Jim because it's crappy meat. So if I get Stay Classy beef jerky, it's like I'm not cheating. I'm actually not. It's just like really clean meat. Which is, you want to have clean meat so it keeps you healthy, keeps you thinking better, and keeps you from going to the supermarket. Because you can just order it, and then it'll just go to your house, and then that's it, and you just cook away. So, and they've always sponsored the Jason Ellis Show. So don't forget, get down there, stayclassymeats.com, promo code Ellis. Thank you. And then last but not least, I want to send a shout out to Onnit, because Onnit always sponsor me. Onnit, I've been an athlete and been with those guys for, is it 10 years now? It's got to be close, right?
Getting there.
I think it's got to be close to 10 years. So I took Alpha Brain today. I use it every day. I use it when I'm not on the radio. I'm not gonna lie. I would just say, maybe go check it out. But I use it every day. It's in my things I have unfortunate pills, and then I have the pill that I like to take, which is the Alpha Brain. So if you go to onnit.com/Ellis, you get a discount on all the stuff that Onnit sells, and they have a wide range of supplements and all that stuff. But you also notify Onnit that you listen to the Jason Ellis Show, and that is very valuable right now for us. So if you want to get supplements, we would appreciate if you went to onnit.com/Ellis. Thanks for their support, and thanks everybody for listening. Did you ever meet girls that said, let me suck your cack?
I've never had a cack chick.
No cack chicks?
No cacks.
One time a girl called the show and she was like, she liked cack. And I'm like, no way, you don't really like cack. No one's ever liked cack.
I've never had a cack.
Yeah. I don't know where's that, Kevin? Is that Philly?
That's got to be Boston.
Okay, is that what
pack
it is?
your cack in my fucking ass.
That's definitely Boston.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some really horny talk there, man. Holy shit, that is a dick-killing machine.
I'm at Masshole Cackmaster on Twitter.
It all sounds like you're saying the same word over and over again. It's like, hack, 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 hack. I'm like, sounds good, guy. What the fuck? Oh, man.
So Peta came for crabs man, those people got to pick their battles a little bit.
Peta came for crabs, and they won. They went after him and just blasted him and went and promoted and talked about it, and they ended up beating him. So they have a beer now they call Peta Tears, and you can go get a pint of Peta Tears, and they're, like I'm telling you, check them out. Order from there. They're the shit. They're the shit.
I've never seen an organization just fuck themselves in the ass so much like they do.
Yeah.
It's like, I eat meat. I'm not like clearly not a fur guy or anything, but like, I love animals and I don't want anybody to hurt them or abuse them, but like, they lose all credibility when they go after crabs or they shit on the new Super Mario game.
Didn't they get mad at Obama for swiping at a fly?
Yeah, like
that's what I'm talking about.
They
go murder millions of animals every year, or hundreds of thousands, or whatever it is they do.
Wait, they do?
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. They put animals to sleep ethically because it's PETA. They're PETA, so when they do it, it's okay. That's the whole thing, and everybody's like, "Shut the fuck up."
I won a PETA award one time because
see, there's your accent, because I'm hearing Peter. Is what I'm hearing.
Oh no, hey Katie, what's my thing where I try to fit in with Americans and I put an R in the wrong spot? That's what I gathered.
Washington, bro. I did it too. Don't feel bad.
I think I put an R.
My dad says that.
I think I put R's in words where I missed the timing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to like bro down with you guys.
What did you guys not connect on this morning right before we started the show?
What do you mean?
You and Katie. Saw.
Oh, yeah. I was like, where the saw is? And she's like, what? I'm like, the saw. And then she corrects me on how it's pronounced after being with me for 10 years. That nobody understands saw. I'm looking for a saw to chop some fucking wood. What the fuck? What else could it be? Saw. Fuck all of you. Now, okay.
I'm just putting together the saw and the chopping. I think, yeah.
I can tell that I'm going back where I came from. I can tell. That's what's happening to me right now. I need to do that. All right.
Yeah, Peta, like a week ago, was telling people that they should stop calling people chickens if they're scaredy cats,
fuck these
or
people.
rats or pigs, because it degrades the animals.
See, that kind of shit ruins the trans community and people like that, where when you do that one, I'm like, you know what? Fuck everybody. You're a dude. How about that? Because you're pissing off people that are... I know a lot of people are like, look, I don't want to be offensive, but I also don't want to bend over backwards for people that I don't know, and I'm old school, and I don't know you're a him or a her, I don't know. And I get people's angle on, they don't want anybody trans to fucking die or suffer. They're just stuck in their little way. But when you do ones like, don't call people a the name thing gets that sensitive.
That's what I'm saying. My numbers are probably off, but you look at how many animals PETA kills a year. Ethically, kills them every year.
Yeah. I remember the award.
I can't eat crabs. Look, I'm telling you right now, they fuck with the wrong city and the wrong people.
I just love awards. If you
weird.
gave me an award, I would kill somebody for you.
What award did you get from them?
I got a trophy, man.
For what?
For the song A is for Anal?
From PETA?
Oh, that was after.
No, I got... Wait.
The song A is for Anal was kind of about the PETA award.
Did I do an... I think
I
did
true.
I did it. Was it?
Yeah.
But that was after I got it.
Yeah, remember in the beginning there was Raw Dog, who used to be on the show, doing an announcer voice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. And thank you. It's really nice to be here again. You're all pieces of shit. That was your acceptance speech for the PETA award in the song A is for Anal, the PETA song.
That's appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what I think I shot a photo where I didn't have a shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, man, fur. I mean, I don't know what
I'd rather wrestle snakes than wear them.
Sure. Which is also something that I think in the end, I feel like having snakes attack me, you could say that the snake was distressed when he was attacking me.
Yeah,
you could.
You could.
Dude, if you could swat at a fly and get in trouble, if I'm taking photos underwater with an 8-foot anaconda, you could say that I was trying to drown him.
You could argue that shark didn't want you to eat its heart.
Oh, man, don't go there.
Yeah. You had a shark's heart?
I was drunk, all right? I'd been out for 2
Raw?
days fishing, and I caught a shark, and it was this big thing where they're like, Jason's got a shark. I don't know, because I don't know anything about fishing. They're like, oh, dude, you got a thrasher. And I'm like, okay, cool, I'm pumped. So it's like a 2-hour thing where I'm trying to get it in there, and then I get it in there, and the guy cuts its head, because you have to cut its head off before you bring it in. Some lore, like, yeah, otherwise, because it doesn't bite people when it's in the boat or something. So before I know it, this dude's cut the heart out and it's beating, and he just gives it to me.
It's still beating?
Yeah, so I just bit into it like an apple, and
what did that taste like?
It tasted like tampon.
Shut the fuck.
Have you ever eaten a tampon?
That's what I'm about to say. You're gonna have to go one more deeper, because I don't know what tampon tastes like.
This one time,
have you ever eaten a tampon?
This one time, I did black tar heroin with these skater dudes at the trade show, and I did it one time with the same guy. I will not put his name in it. Bless his heart, good guy. But one time we heated it up on a plate, but this time he put it on a spoon. And then we heated it on a spoon like you were going to take it in a syringe, but instead then we snorted off the spoon just straight up the nose. Like tar water. I snorted tar water. So then I met this real crazy goth lady who had like all black shit on and, evil fucking lady. And she was just into me straight away. And then we went to the hotel and I went in the bathroom and had my face down there or whatever, and I didn't really think about it because I was so wasted. But when I turned the lights were off, when I turned the light on, my face was completely covered, and there was like, that was in there, so I might have nibbled on it a little bit. I didn't know. I was also like in and out of consciousness. That stuff is terrible.
Yeah,
don't do heroin, kids.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant eating a chick out of her period.
Well, no, I would say. I don't want to.
Stranger, excuse me, a stranger.
Only do it if you're in love.
We'd associated for at least half an hour. Was it a complete stranger? She knew my name. Yeah, but she, I guess, like, wasn't ready for me to say that or do that, and didn't want to say anything, and I just kept going because we're in a party mode scenario. But yeah, I remember going, oh wow, that's like extreme pennies,
That's what I was gonna ask. Pennies.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
A lot of pennies,
but it's more your mind than the blood.
It's the taboo.
The tampon.
I know my wife is just like, shut up. You can't even handle it. She made fun of me last night about it, making fun with another person. Oh, he doesn't like period sex. I'm like, I don't mind it. It's not my preferred thing. It's just
I don't want to be on day one. That's my thing. We don't need to be. I remember learning about period sex. I'm
glad we're coming here. Ryan, this is why I got you on the show.
I had sex with a girlfriend one time, and this is 2 decades later.
We're such pussies.
We are. We
right?
could never
like
I couldn't handle a period every month. I look down at my dick in the shower, and it looks like a bloodish, grayish it's a clot on my it looked like a leech on my dick. And I was like, I remember my knees buckling a little bit, and I was like, oh, and the water around me was all red. It looked like a double homicide. And I was like, what is that? And nonchalantly, she's in the shower with me. She's like, oh, it's just a clot. And she just wipes it off like it's nothing.
Because it is nothing.
To her, that's a monthly occurrence.
Yeah. And I was like, man, what the fuck? How about a heads up if that's going to be on my dick when we're done? Like,
I agree, man. All the things that I've done and been involved in, it's still every now and then, if it's a surprise one, it still gets me. Still like, oh man, I completely forgot. I gotta go. But I don't. But I gotta think about it.
Brian, on your Patreon, you're doing your Honeydew format, but you're doing it with listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know what the most noteworthy stories are that listeners have shared with you, because it's a whole different story, right? People who are in the public eye are used to talking about themselves. It's a muscle that you've kind of worked, particularly if you're a comic, you've probably been mining that for years, but it's a whole different thing when there's somebody who's just living their life and they go, you know what? I don't really talk about this all the time, but I'm going to do it on Patreon.
Well, it's a great question. There are very few Jason Ellises. There are very few Joey Diazes. There are very few of those people. And you're right. The people in our world can definitely tell a story and have probably told that story a bunch. But these people have stories that I don't care how many comedians I sit with, I'm never going to hear the shit that when you cast that fucking line out to anything, you don't even know what you're going to get. So far, so it's the Honeydew with y'all, and it's the show you and I did with regular people. And so far, I've talked to a girl who had 2 pussies.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Are they both fuckable? Sorry.
Yes, they were.
That was my penis asking that question.
I thought that was my inner monologue.
I believe.
Does she double team herself?
They called her DP in high school, and I thought double penetration, but she's like, nah, they called me double pussy. I was like, oh, you poor thing.
Man,
she had to have
surgery.
This poor girl had like a double uterus, double everything,
shit.
except for kidney. Had 1 kidney. So the one thing she was supposed to have 2 of, she got 1 of, and doubled up on everything else. It happened in her mother's womb.
Was she like a conjoined twin?
No, she just... Something happened with the cells, and if she listens, she'll probably be like, "You're an idiot. That's not where." But they split or doubled, or some deformation happened, and that's what happened with her. Again, we're guys, I could never deal with that. 2 dicks, I'd have a good time with 2 dicks, but I don't need 4 balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't need 4 balls. I talked to a guy.
I met a guy that had 4 balls.
For real?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
You said.
Well,
did you see him?
What do you want me to do? I met a guy that had 4 balls.
Did you see him?
I grabbed him.
Yeah, I would want to look at that too.
Yeah, I told Katie, I went to Palm Springs. She showed me some gay resort to go to, and I just went there by myself for a day. Was it, Katie? A night? A day? A day and a night, yeah. So I was hanging out, swimming around the pool, hanging out in jacuzzi, and I didn't really know about, I guess there's like other areas where people walk around and do stuff. So I was in the jacuzzi having a drink, and some guy hit on me.
Like a sack of apples just floats to the top of the water?
No, I grabbed his dick, and then like when I went to grab his whatever, you know what? When you're half a homo, it happens. All right, you grab genitals of men. Sorry.
Look, it's a story about four balls. I'm sorry. I'm gonna laugh from time to time.
I know, but when I went, I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I have to find out now. Like I'm like, feels like you got more than fucking 2 balls in there.
Did he look at you
so
like?
now my hand's detecting? No, because he did. I did a. Oh God, 4 balls. I got to try and play it off. So now I'm definitely not trying to. And I'm like, what?
You could absolutely feel 4 balls.
Yeah.
That's got to be. And how were they? Were they like this or like side by side?
No,
by
dude,
side,
they were just 4 balls floating in that sack.
In the sack.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the steel thing that people had on their desks in the 80s where you clack one ball.
See, I'm picturing that thing from the 80s where you had the 3 balls in your hand and you would massage your hand by moving
Those
those
Benoit
around.
balls.
That's kind of what I was
yeah.
doing. I was doing that, but they were all like ping pong, ping, 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 because there's so many of them. But then I talked about it on the show. People called. We had a guy call in. He had 7 testicles.
7. I've never heard that.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah,
He is the chosen.
he can predict the future.
Damn.
Very fertile.
7
He
balls.
called with a mask on.
It's gotta really, really hurt to get kicked in the nuts when you have that many balls.
Fuck yeah.
What about the girl that I had sex with that had 1 ball
Wait,
just on the
what?
side of her labia? She just had a ball.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, so crazy.
her
Just
lucky
out
marble.
of nowhere too. It was my friend who's like got a girl wants to hang out and sleep. Hook up with this, and I'm like, cool. And they come over, and then we hang out in jacuzzi, and then we move into the living room, and Katie's getting a tattoo, so she's not home yet. So it's just me and these two. And then he cuts out for a second, and it's me and her out of the jacuzzi on the couch. And then that's when I see something out of the corner of my eye where I'm like, what was that? And then I do the same thing with the ball thing where I'm like, I don't want to pay attention to it because I'm not sure what it is, and I don't want to make a scene and go, oh my God, what is that? Because that would be mean.
But then what's the etiquette? Like, are you supposed to ignore it, or you're like, am I supposed to lick that too?
I ignored it,
Oh,
but I didn't
Yeah, that's
go
probably a
down
good
there
call.
with my face. But it wasn't gross. It was an extra thing on her labia.
How did she wear a bikini? Could you see it? Like, do you think
maybe
with
she
a
could
bikini
tuck
you
it
could
in the
see it?
bikini, but I feel like it would bulge. It was like
Right.
it was
it's
like
a speedo.
it was like a decent little ball. Like every now and then it would flop up and get it stuck in between the top part instead of the bottom part, and I'd get a good look at it and be like, oh my God, what is that?
What is that?
Nice
Wow.
person though. And then I told Katie that, like, she's like, okay, when's it happen? I'm like, you might want to opt out. You might not be a ball lady, ball vagina
Ball
lady.
on the lips. Yeah.
So the double vagina collar
Mhm.
did it seemed like you were speaking about it in the past tense. Did she like have a surgery to remove one?
She's a very nice girl. Poor thing had like all kinds of surgeries and finally got it all worked out to just be one pussy.
Why was it a bummer to have 2? I feel like that would be kind of
It
cool.
was painful and it was.
Okay.
It wasn't
Oh, it
like
hurt?
it wasn't like dead split. I don't think either. It might have been more of a. It might have been like a 70-30. you
Right,
know?
Oh.
like Pussy
One
and
was
Pussy
muscle and
Junior.
the other one out of the way a little bit. There can only be one kind of shit. The Highlander of vagina.
But she was so nice. The other guy I talked to recently, this was wild. He's from Philly, heroin addict, goes to buy his heroin. He's told me that there were 2 streets. One, the Puerto Ricans had it. 1 block over, the Dominicans had it. This was in the open air drug market, and he went to the Puerto Ricans. And I said, why? And he said, honestly, because they were a block closer. That was it. And the Dominicans were a little mean or whatever. So he would go buy heroin from this dealer named Gordo. And he said Gordo was a 400-pound Puerto Rican dude. And he's like, considering that he was a drug dealer, he was the nicest fucking guy. And he had this, I think it was a 44 Magnum that he wouldn't intimidate you with. He would bring you over. This is such a better way to do it. And be like, Poppy, come here, look at this gun. And he would talk about how beautiful the gun was and show you, here, spin it around, all this shit. And let you know, I got this fucking thing. But I'm not out here flashing. I'm showing you I love this gun, but I've got this gun.
Yeah.
And he said every time he would buy his heroin, when he would pay Gordo, he'd turn around and walk away. And there'd always be like the neighborhood junkie would be right here, rocking back and forth, asking you for a hit of your shit after you just got your bag.
Yeah.
That guy. And everyone would just be like, no. And he said one time he went to Gordo and bought his bag, and turned around and started walking away. And the junkie, so he's walking this way, and now the junkie's fast walking past him right to Gordo. And he hears Gordo go, "Hey, motherfucker." And he's like, "Oh my God, did I just short him? Like, is this motherfucker going to kill me?" So he turns around to see if Gordo's talking to him. And what he sees is the junkie grab a package from Gordo and turn around and start running.
Oh,
so he's running right at him now. And Gordo picks that gun up and puts one in the back of the dude's head.
Oh.
And he said, as he's running toward him, it's totally normal. And then right here at the bridge of the nose, it splits open.
Oh,
and
Terminator.
Yep. And all over him. All over him. He was right here.
Dude.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like we're talking about a crackhead, basically, that could have easily tripped and fell when he ran.
Yeah.
That bullet's going right to you. The fact it didn't go through to you. And I knew he was telling the truth when he said, I had bloods. I had blood, skull, brains, and he said snot.
Oh.
Snot blown all over me. And I said, what did that smell like? And he said pennies. He fucking said pennies.
Yeah.
And he was such an addict that he then went and sat in his car for an hour and a half with this dude's brains, blood, everything all over him.
Doing heroin.
Shot up.
Yeah.
And I said, did that stop you? He goes, for 4 days. And then I got so fucking sick, I went back to Gordo. I go, now, why would you go back to Gordo and not the Dominicans?
Right.
And he's like, well, they were mean. I'm like, this guy just shot someone's face onto your face.
Yeah,
like,
but he wasn't aiming at you.
And he's like, yeah, he was nice. So he said he walks up to Gordo, and Gordo goes, Poppy, we good? He goes, good enough. And he said, what do you need? And he gave him a package, and that was the last they ever talked about it.
I was friendly with my theology teacher in high school. It's like the study of religion. And I don't know why, in the course of conversation one day, he told me that to be a heroin dealer, you need to accept that a life cycle of a relationship with every one of your junkies, and you need to be prepared to kill every single one of them. At the end of it. Because that guy's dangerous. That guy, when he gets desperate, is going to commit crimes and rat you out, or just go rat you out for money or whatever. And he said you have to be prepared to kill every single person you're selling heroin to.
Yeah, that blew me away, and no pun intended. And the other thing with the Patreons, I'm getting a much younger crowd. A lot of guys and girls in their 20s.
Yeah.
28, 25, 24, gone
As
through
opposed
some
to your
shit,
podcast.
which I feel is older men, women for sure, but older, our age-ish,
Are you saying Patreon is more of a younger generation device?
I'm not saying that. I don't know what, I don't know why the younger crowd, I do believe this. The older crowd and the crowd that's been there for a while, they're still audiophiles. They still like to listen, but the younger kids watch on YouTube.
Okay.
They when they say, they don't say I listen to you, they say I watch your podcast.
Okay.
So I think that audience really likes it, and they want to talk, and they've been there. The other thing is they are comfortable with social media, because if they're in their 20s, it's been here since they were born.
Right.
Not like us, where we could take it or leave it. I forget sometimes that I can Google somebody and look up whatever and not that I forget, I just don't think to do it,
I do that because of Patreon and how many people ask me questions where I go to myself, because I don't want to be mean, you could just Google it, you lazy son of a bitch. Yeah. Because I'll catch myself doing that. I know Tony Hawk changed his foundation from the Tony Hawk Foundation to the Skate Park Foundation, and I'm punchy and I can't remember. And I typed out, hey man, what's the name of your... And then I was like, Google it, you useless prick. Like,
you're doing that thing.
You're doing that thing that people do. And then sure enough, it gives you the information. Thanks, Google.
I talked to a few people actually. One in particular that was, he might have been 19 or 20. And he just found out that the man he thought was his biological father wasn't his biological father, and that his best friend's dad was. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. So you and I are best friends, and you grow up your whole life thinking that Joe Blow over here is your dad, but turns out he's not, and we're brothers.
Oh shit!
My dad's your dad. His dad banged his mom, got her pregnant, she had the baby.
And they didn't. Does everybody else know?
They outed it at a high school. He's like 19 or 20, and they told him at a high school party when they were all drinking, like, "Listen, man, we got to tell you something." And that's when he started questioning and found out. And there's a few of them I've talked to. Another guy is one of my favorites. He died. He actually died and came back. He was driving at no fault of his own. A crane truck, excuse me, is coming at him down a hill. It was never proven, but he believes the guy was texting. And the guy just plowed through an intersection, and the crane hit his head, and he said sliced it like deli meat. He said his fucking skull just flopped over. His skin's hanging here. He said he got hit so hard. This is crazy. And I posted the pictures on my Instagram, so they're there. And I give you a warning as you're sliding
I love how
through.
they can be on Instagram, but I can't put my wife's nipples.
Well, they blur it. They blur it
Oh, okay.
automatically. But I'm putting as you go slide by side, because I'm not this shit, the guy that likes to see that. But I'm putting, if this isn't your thing, stop now.
Yeah.
I'm not
warning.
fucking with you. Stop now.
Yeah.
You know, because he got hit so hard that the steering wheel hit his chest and rib cage and shoved his rib cage through his skin out of his back.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Out of his back.
How is he alive?
That's what he has no abdomen, no stomach. It's just the actual, I shouldn't say he has no abs. It's just the stomach ball exposed. I'll show you the pictures after, but it's
Permanently.
Yeah. And he's wrapped.
Can he walk?
He can walk, man. He's younger. I'm like, man, and you know, and to no fault of his own, obviously, he's a little, you could tell he's slow and gets it out, but he's on a lot of pain meds that he hates and shit like that, you know, but he's alive. I believe he has a kid. He's married. But he died. They brought him back. He was in a coma for like 3 months. And yeah, it's fucking amazing that this guy made it out of that. It's not. So this is this kind of story. I'm like, you know, no offense to comedians. I'm not hearing shit like that from the comedians, the regular people out there who are comfortable enough to share, and then to find a sense of humor somewhere through that stuff. I'm laughing with every one of these people, no matter what their story has been.
I'm always fascinated, like almost on a selfish level, with somebody who has a story like that. Did you talk to him about how his life has changed and how his attitude towards life has changed? When you know that you shouldn't be here anymore, you would hope that would relieve you of a lot of the bullshit that we all needlessly carry around.
Yeah, and I think he did feel that way, but the problem was with him, and this is me, you know, remembering, but he was in so much, it wrecked his body so much that it's a constant reminder. It's not like he died, came back, and he's healthy and out there jogging and shit again and has a new outlook on life. He may have the new outlook on life, but there's a, you know,
it's a lot of baggage.
A daily, and he had a hat on and everything, and I was like, you look fucking great. And he's like, I've covered myself up. You know, if I took this off, you know, you'd see the scars, all that shit. So
he didn't feel comfortable showing you that.
I don't think he took the hat off. No,
Oh.
I think he had a hat on. Yeah, and didn't. Take
That
off.
sucks,
But he
man.
showed the pictures and everything of what he went through, and I'm like, good God, man.
Yeah, I feel like because of your show and your Patreon show, it's the same thing with my stories. That's why you had me on. If I say certain things that have happened to me, people will call, like you said, that aren't comedian celebrity people, that are day-to-day people that have made me feel like, you know, at one point when I was younger and my little brother and my father died in the same year, I really thought that maybe I was one of the most unlucky people. I mean, there was a couple of days there where I was like, what is this, a fucking movie? Like, who that's, and then I talked about it on the radio and people reached out where it's not even, people lose everybody just out of, and then they're like, love the show, man, it's helped me get through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I
can't get over the messages I get from people about that. And I mean, you know, I know a lot of people reached out to you from your episode. Yeah, it's a lot of perspective. I sit there and knowing my own story, and I hear these other people, and I'm like, man, what am I bitching about? And then there are times too where somebody comes in, I'm like, for real, bro, this is what you're bringing to the table? Like, get your shit together. You know what
Get your shit
Hey,
together.
I'll tell you what. Let's stop
Get
this
your shit
episode.
together for having your shit together.
Go fucking go listen to Jason Ellis episode,
man,
and
don't
then
do
call
it.
me back, bro. You got anything like that? Your stories are original. They're different. But also, you've put the time in. That's what I'm saying. You've put the time in to work on yourself and to understand yourself. And now you're unapologetically you, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. I mean, if you're not fucking them. I texted you that. I go, hey, you're probably fucking something.
I realized halfway through your podcast that I'm like, man, this is a fucking story hour for you. Like, you know, I have other stories, but I was like, this seems
You're
to
coming
be,
back, dude. You better come back.
I'm gonna write down some
Little
stuff
list.
that doesn't involve fucking, so I can do
Please.
another angle, so people go, okay, he doesn't just like walk around fucking walls and stuff like that.
If you've got the standard number of testicles, you're in line.
Bring it, bro. Come back. Please come back. Yeah, but that's the other thing. I love what I do because I get to sit and listen. Like
But that's why you're so good at it. I feel like you ask questions.
That's the
and I
thing
feel
is
like,
being a good listener.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I sense the same thing from you as Howard Stern, where he's very intrigued. And I've also been on there a couple of times where it's older. He's somewhere else. And I can feel the difference. Like when he's like, you're joking me. And I'm like, whoa, he's like seriously interested in the story. It helps you bring out your story. And I feel like I'm a real good, if you're faking, I know. Like if you're like, man, I've always loved your shit. I'm like, I can tell you don't. You know what I mean? Like you don't even know my shit. You're fucking one of those guys. You were like really interested, which makes it easier to keep going with the story and keep, giving more that you might want to hold back because you're like, this is working out. We're working together here, doing what we love, because I felt the same thing with the Stern a couple of times where he'd say things where I felt like we were like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. Oh man, excellent idea. And we were working together. I'm like, yeah, man, this is awesome. We're doing what I love the most. I mean, honestly, I skateboarded the other day. It was fun to be back. It's not as much fun as this.
Wow.
It's a bit cold. It was a bit cold down there, and I was like, man, it's a bit cold here. And he was like, yeah, let's do one more. And I was like, man, if I personally would not want to do one more because the last time you did it, you almost hit me in the head, and I want to go home. And I was like, wow, you don't like it like you get tired, you get scared. I can be scared for an hour, and then I need like a break from, and maybe it'll go away from if I go regularly, but it was definitely a little bit sketchy. And the other thing was, if you fall and you land on Tony Hawk,
Ooh.
it's not the same as everybody else in skateboarding.
It's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility, man. I'm 220. If I land on him, and I'm like worried about my knee too. So if I fall, I don't want to like do something really bad on that leg. So I'll probably, I might be like, whoa. And a couple of times we landed right next to each other. And I'm like, what if his foot got caught on my foot and then I accidentally put my elbow on his head and then there's like a snoring Tony Hawk on the ground.
All of a sudden you got a new top line on your Wikipedia page.
Yeah, great. I guess at this point, for the sake of the podcast, no offense, Tony, that might be a good call. Like some random asshole knocked out Tony Hawk and be like, yeah, check out my podcast.
How did it feel to knee slide on the new knee?
Excellent. Better than it did for years is kind of half the reason why I didn't do it anymore is because I just couldn't really do it on that leg. I would always, I skid on my back leg and then I flick out onto my ass and I skid on my butt because I can't keep my knees behind me. It just hurts too much. And now I can. So that was probably the best part about that day was every time I fell off. It's weird how you don't realize something. Like I took that.
So you keep your legs back like that.
You do a knee slide like everybody else in skateboarding has always done because that's the best. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I used to sew a patch on the back of my pants and I used to tape that ankle because every time you flick out, I would melt the side of my ankle from because I had to run it underneath the wood to get to my ass. So it would melt through the sock and burn the side of my ankle off every day. So I do this tape thing and now I don't have to. That day I did not melt my sock because I do knee slides, which I felt was a trick in itself. Like I did some stuff and then I fell off and I went, hey! And I could tell Tony, because he said some stuff too. He's like, wow, I got to tell you, man, coming down here and knowing that you hadn't skateboarded for that long and that we were going to shoot a photo, I wasn't sure how long this was going to take because I showed up half an hour early because I just knew, I was like, he goes here every day and you got, last time you here was a year ago. Oh no, 6 months ago. And then the time before that, it was 10 years. So
damn.
Yeah, I had some big gaps of riding a vert ramp, but I think yoga helps. This is some boring shit, but I think some other stuff that I've been doing lately has got me a little bit more balanced. I don't know. Didn't feel that bad. Now? Almost 50. I know. Scary stuff. Excuse me.
They keep coming.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
So is that lighter fluid I saw around here earlier.
Yeah, you want to chop some wood on fire?
Yeah,
I
sure.
feel like for you, Ryan, I would do a special stunt that I've never done before.
I would love to see it.
I think that I can headbutt a wood on fire.
Can I hold it?
Yes.
All right.
You have to make sure you smash me with it. Don't get it. Otherwise, it won't break.
Let's talk about this because I had the opportunity. I worked with Steve-O one time in stand-up early
And I
on.
almost text him a couple of times lately because of my fire stuff I've been doing.
This is
what
what
I know he knows.
wanted me to do it. And I was like, I'm not. He's
Wait.
like, he wanted me. Okay, so he would close his show. When I first started with him, he did a few things. He took
Staple
a
his
lemon.
balls.
He didn't do that on
Oh,
stage. He
okay.
took a lemon and cut it in half and squeezed it right in his eyes.
Awesome.
And then doctors told him, you're going to go, that's pure acid. Like, you're going to go blind if you keep doing that. I remember him telling me that.
Huh.
And this was the old Irvine Improv. He took a light bulb, he put it in his mouth, ate it, took pieces, and then cut himself, and then took the blood and rubbed it all over him. Then shirtless went outside and took pictures with people. And I was like, people want to take pictures of a bloody? I don't care who the fuck you are. And then he also did the bar trick where he can lay down without spilling a drink. Have you ever seen him do that?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I watched him do it. I don't know how many shows we did together. Not a drop ever. The whole bar thing is I can drink that without using my hands. And he brings it down to the ground and like flips over, like rolls back and drinks the whole it's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
And
he's a
then one of the
professional
things was light
clown.
his hair on fire. And he said to me, just come out. You're going to do. I was like, bro, no, I'm not being responsible for fucking. I'm just not. I'm going to do this wrong. I'm going to fucking burn Steve-O's fucking face off. And
Fair enough.
So
if
he
you
had
know
a
you're
buddy
not the man
come
for the
do
job,
it.
you
Yeah.
just say you're not the man
So,
for the job.
Am I pushing forward when you're coming in, or am I just holding steady? I know I'm not
I mean,
pulling
I
back.
feel like hold steady, but right when you see my head about to hit give it a push.
Got it.
Yeah. Did you see me fail?
No.
Dude,
see you
so I
fail.
don't know
I
about
saw you
chopping
chop.
wood.
Yeah.
And he says that they use 1 inch. So I go down there and I get some 1 inch pine, and I don't know about the grain, and I go
You didn't
live.
bother to Google it, huh?
Well, you know what? I thought it would be exciting to go live on Instagram and fail or achieve, because I noticed when I breathed fire the day before, a lot of people on there were going, don't use that lamp oil, use alcohol. And I was like, I actually Googled alcohol and it set your fucking head on fire. So all you guys are dumb. I know what I'm doing. So then 2 days later, I go, I'm karate chopping wood. And you guys are like, don't do it. I'm like, I know you guys. You don't know shit. And yeah, they were super right. I fucked myself so hard, dude.
I was trying to tell you that when we were.
I was about to punch it, and I felt, I was like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to go through it with a punch. You know what? I'll fucking crank an elbow as hard as I can down onto it. And it did not move at all, dude. I just threw as hard as I could onto this. It just smashed everything. And then I tried to punch it on a smaller one, and that wrecked that. And then I got angry and I tried to elbow it again, and it bounced off my elbow twice.
And then you like kicked it and tripped and fell over or something.
Yeah, I got angry at it.
You never got it?
I eventually, but only because you go this way, not this way. And I just couldn't understand what you got to go with the grain. And I'm like, what do you mean go with what?
That's what I was telling you, because Jason FaceTimed me from the hardware store, and I was like telling him the planks. I'm like, that's the one.
Oh, that was the other thing. I went to the hardware store 4
People are
times.
there right now trying to build shelter.
No, I said, hey, I need to karate chop wood. What's the best wood to chop? And they're like, go over, and they wouldn't walk with me they just told me to go over to some corner and look for some wood. They were already offended at me. Like, people can't chop wood. What the fuck?
Come on. But like I was telling you, because I found the right plank. I'm like, that is the one you want. Now you just need it cut because it's the right width. You just need it cut to the right, like, you need like a foot or 10 inches, and chop it up. And I'm like, you got to go with the grain. You're like, yeah. And then it was like, boop, FaceTime over. I was like, oh no. But I saw that video of your attempts, and if the grain was right, that would have broken. You're on the right track. Looks like it's smoking.
Sickler, you got it? You got it? Ready?
Whoa! Well done.
Oh. You're Popeyeing a little bit, and I can't tell how much that's for effect. Because you already had a bit of a black eye.
Before you spoke again.
How'd that go for you, Ryan?
That went clean. That was nice. I'm glad to be the assist.
Yeah. You look like you have some experience doing
Fuck yeah.
indoor fire stunts.
I've never done an indoor fire stunt, but I did have a friend in high school who he basically had his hand kind of fucked up, and the doctor told him, like, look, we need to break it and reset it. I can do it, and it costs this much.
Oh.
Or you can have one of your friends
come on.
take a textbook. He told him, make a fist and put your elbow like this against the locker, and then have a friend. You are bleeding a little bit over your eye. Yeah, over your right eye, right on your eyebrow.
Is this like one of those strip mall doctors?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I took our biggest science book and I was like, you're going to let me do this? He's like, yep. And I fucking hit that thing and shattered it. And he said, the doctor told him to tell me that whoever hit that hand did a nice, clean job on it. So, got a little bit of experience. Good for you, man. How do you feel?
Good. Electric.
Do you?
Like worst case scenario, we could take this on the road.
Worst case.
Yeah, look, if everyone, I got a lot of, you got a lot of downloads from the Honeydew, and that's great for you, Ryan. I'm very happy for you. We don't. I used to, millions of people listened every day, and now we're starting from scratch. I'm just saying, if it doesn't happen the way that I think it's going to happen, well, then maybe I go on the road and I headbutt fire. And I mean, Steve-O, very entertaining and making a huge career out of it. Let's say I'm a quarter of a Steve-O. That's a check. Get out there. I'll get a van. I'll do a podcast out of a van, and I'll have fire stunts out of the back of my van. Come on, kids, throw some wood at me on fire. Yeah, I'll just burn. People are sending me fire stunts now that I should do, like really good ideas. Another one, flying through walls of fire, go skateboard down a hill, off a kicker ramp, through walls of fire into a pool of water.
Oh, right.
Okay.
And then he was like, if you do the pool of water, and then you have Ken Block go drifting underneath as you go over through a wall of fire. So it's fire everywhere. And then he sent me a video of like the drawing and everything, and I sent it to Ken, and Ken said, ha ha. So I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Ken was going to wait a minute, Jason, that is the greatest idea ever. You're in Gymkhana. But no.
That's another guy that I didn't know anything about him till my stepson introduced me to him like 10 years ago and showed me that video of the guy. Is he on a Segway or something? And he's
that's
just
my friend Scotto.
Fucking spinning around him while it's moving. Like the control of that is just, it's amazing.
He is. Did you see the Travis Pastrana's latest Gymkhana video? Because he took over for Ken for yeah. Wow, man. He does 150 mile an hour down a 2-lane road out in farm area where
he's a Maryland guy too, Pastrana.
Yes, he is. So this is where the video is all in there. It's his hometown where he does the video. So they got the city to, because he is in side streets, just sideways everywhere going. But he, at one point in the video, to me, the hardest part about, the gnarliest thing about it by far, is he gets out on a straightaway, all the way up. This car shows the dynamics of it, and Speedo showing him grow from 140 up to 150. And then there's a kicker and a downhill, and he hits a kicker at 150 mile an hour and flies down this road. It's not a 4-wheel drive. It's a fucking car like this high off the ground, like 200 feet, like 10 feet in the air at one point, and then land at I'm like, this guy is, it's little things like that where you don't the level of danger that he is on right there. I mean, it does look good. The video looks good, but the adrenaline, like anybody that's been far, when you get in a car and you get it all the way up to flat out, and then there's just that screaming, and you're like, man, you know what I mean? If shit went wrong right now, it's just human instinct to go,
Toyota ain't
if
gonna
shit went
handle
wrong right now, I'm pretty sure I'd be fucked. And it's like, wow, this is real adrenaline. And then to do that and be like, okay, here comes the jump. I'm like, man, this guy is on another thing.
He is.
He's a machine.
It's all those Maryland boys,
Very impressive.
Sooner or later, I'll connect with all those bastards.
You should have those guys on.
I'd love to, yeah. I don't know.
Travis will talk to you.
I don't know any of them. Travis
would love to tell you stories.
I would love to have them all.
He has. I will recommend him and Matt Hoffman. Matt Hoffman.
Okay.
The greatest interview I've ever done at an X Games was Matt was on our show, and he discussed, because I've known him for years, and he's had horrific injuries. He's the first person to have certain surgeries that were illegal, so he went to other countries to have it without anesthesia to make sure that the doctor did the right job.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's
and
hard.
we're talking drills in your knee,
And
no anesthesia,
nothing.
He's awake watching it.
So we can keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He has a part of a knee in his pocket at all times when he rides.
No.
So when he blows out the knee, he gives it to the doctor to put that one in.
And that same doctor rolls with him all the time in case too.
If all over the world, he has those parts with
I
him.
see.
So if he has to have an immediate surgery, he'll be like, "Hey doc, just while you're at it, put that in there."
Like a
He's
spare
ready.
tire.
Get the fuck out.
He has
Yeah,
spare
that's what I'm talking
tires
about.
in his
That's-
pocket.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's had like 7 cadavers and several. What is it when you do the fake one where they make what's the word?
A synthetic?
Yeah, synthetic. Several, not one, just tons of dead things put in, and then he just rips them off and then put them in again. Like, just
Damn.
the toughest guy and the nicest, mild-mannered, just sweetheart. The true, out of all action sports, the most dangerous man I've ever met by far.
Wow.
By
all right.
far.
All of them. We'll talk later.
Yeah, I'll hook that up.
So Ryan, I'm curious. So Jason's fallback plan, if the podcast doesn't work out, is to do fire stunts for children on a traveling basis out the back of a van.
And gay porn.
Right. Not a lot of crossover, hopefully, between those two careers.
Yeah, no. That could be the end of both of those careers if that happens.
One might ruin you in the other.
If you're about to ask me what my backup plan is, I'm going to tell you right now.
Please.
It's going to be to hold the wood and hold the camera.
All the way to the top, baby.
All the
Rock
way.
and roll. I can't wait to be huge.
Look, you're doing the right thing. I'm telling you, you're doing the right thing. Your own show, your other shows, all of it's the right thing. It's all revenue streams. That's the new way. We're stuck.
I will say
That's the new way. We're all on these quarantines. You can't go do live shows
I
anywhere
know,
but like
right?
Texas and Florida. That's it.
I feel I really like doing it more, which is crazy because I love doing this, but it's so much better doing it now. The
Yeah.
only, like financially, it's hard. You got kids and shit, dude. That's not there. So I'm like, well, there's this one big piece that isn't there, but the actual work, doing the work, talking to those guys where there's no other people involved.
Mhm.
It's just us. What are we going to do? There's no argument. It's always
freedom.
a good day.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to get anybody's approval. You don't have to hear notes from non-creative people that
Yeah,
just need to
it's-
fucking justify their jobs.
It's the stuff that they bring to the table. I'm more appreciative of it now. Like, I feel like there was a time there it was just like, we all do our thing, we do our thing, and congratulations. It's like Eminem. I'm used to you guys doing your thing. You're no longer, blowing my mind because you fucking blown my mind for 10 years. But now when it's just us, like, what are we doing tomorrow? Or, he made a video for Patreon the day. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like, I think maybe a year ago I would have been like, man, but it's all, we're all doing this together to stay alive, to flourish. Even the Liquid Death thing, just knowing that Liquid Death are interested because of all my hustle. Well, I know that brings us something.
That's right. Yeah.
So us, we can not get in a small minivan and headbutt. Because I feel like if this is like every day, that's going to start to leave a mark.
Yeah, it is definitely gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little spot of blood going there.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm kind of pumped on that. I got more damage to whenever I have damage to the face, my wife finds me more attractive. So I can't lose when you hit me in the face.
What happened to what's the black eye from?
Sparring,
Oh, okay.
boxing with
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
not. Just always have to make sure everyone knows. Organized fighting.
Not street fighting, not some sort of extreme sex thing.
Man, which is totally valid, but no,
Mhm.
none of those things are
Yeah, after what
happening.
I heard, it is.
That reminds me of a news story that I saw. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, a man known locally as the butt plug bandit.
Wait, he steals them?
No, he stole. There was surveillance video. So the entire crime is on video. First, there's the parking lot video of the guy observing a slightly open car window, reaching in, removing a purse, and then walking through the lot. And then there's the video of when he walks into the sex shop and he buys the butt plug. And also, you're going to have to help me with this, a thickening cream?
Oh, a cream you put on your dick to make your dick thicker.
I would assume.
Is that real?
I'm I don't.
That's a thing.
I don't know.
Thickening
I
cream?
don't know, but I'm assuming.
You've
just,
heard of that before?
Nope. I'm just going with.
That's my
He's
guess.
referring to me because I'm the sex guy. So
I'm absolutely coming to you.
I don't want to
too.
be an asshole and go, I don't know, fuck off. Like, I want to try and help the conversation, you know? I'm assuming it's a thickening of your penis cream.
What else could it be, right?
Yeah.
He purchases a Pipe Dream Pump Work X thickening cream, both a hand and a motorized penis pump,
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
And
he's a
then-
needle dick.
and then goes back to the car and puts the purse back.
Wait, I missed the purse part.
He stole the purse out of
Snatched
the
the
car.
purse, used her shit to buy this stuff, and then put
Just
the purse
put back to the car, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And
Is
so
it-
they caught him because they had the
The guy-
entire
it
thing
is.
on.
He just wants.
Is
to-
it? Does it
just
make
wants to
him
get
nice
off.
that he put the purse back?
It's nice enough.
Okay.
You know.
It's weird.
Look,
that
I
they-
lost my wallet around last Christmas. I keep thinking everything was last year, but we did nothing last year. And it was just a pain in the ass to replace all my
Okay.
credit cards, my driver's license, all that bullshit. It's all gone.
that
And
does
you know
suck.
that your money went to good use, too.
Yeah, and there was cash, and I never carry cash, and I had cash in the motherfucker, like $100. The wallet was a nice Coach wallet, like somebody got a steal, literally.
I'm still getting charges on a credit card for Uber, and I've called my bank repeatedly, and they're like, "Yeah, man, we gotta stop that."
And they don't do it.
And I'm like, "So what? How does this? What's the end game here?" I got my bill. I got the bill for all of the charges, and I'm like, "What's the end game here?" And they're like, "When we are done with our report, we will definitely give you a call." And I'm like, "In the meantime, they're just gonna keep running up Ubers on my credit card." And they're like, "That is correct, sir."
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Cancel that.
Probably
fucking
right
card.
now. No, but it's not. It's like I did cancel the card. They've got some deep numbers, Ryan Sickler.
Really?
Yeah. And
Got
this
you.
is just somebody right now is in an Uber right now on my dime, and Citibank's totally aware of it, and they're okay with it.
not even going anywhere, just doing laps.
It's probably my daughter and her friends.
Really, probably. That's the thing. I'm picturing. I don't know what it is about
It's a bunch
Uber.
of 16-year-olds, dude.
What it is about Uber criminals that makes me feel particularly negative about who they are. Right.
Yeah.
It's they're not stealing food for their family. It's kids joyriding, and I
Yeah.
know it. Did you hear Kevin Hart had a personal shopper that had his credit card info and ran up $1 million worth of charges for their own personal shit?
No.
And
There's
they
a lot
bought
of
like
thickening cream.
they bought like Beanie Babies and shit, dude.
Yeah, what's wrong with Beanie Babies?
Yeah, they're on the comeback.
Yeah.
That's
Beanie
an
Babies and
investment.
baseball cards.
They're like fun to fly with in case you feel a little anxious.
Yeah, they're the new Dogecoin.
It's just
Dogecoin.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, deep cut, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's balling right there when it has to reach $1 million before you know that somebody's stealing from you.
Wait a
Exactly.
minute. He's got business managers and all those people for sure.
Someone should be looking at that. Listen, I have that right now, and
So-
I don't make Kevin Hart fucking
I was going
money.
to say, I'm
Right
fucking
now,
broke and I've got
yeah,
one.
I was gonna say, if there were some charges that were coming in like that, my guys would be like, "Yo,
Yeah, and,
right away."
and
yeah.
when you get $1 million charged on your card by somebody else and it's provable, he doesn't lose $1 million.
No.
So,
Well, so this person
or does he?
was charged on a 10-count indictment of this is grand larceny. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's $1 million. They are trying to recover as many of the assets as they can, and then they can just sell those off, and they can get some of the money back. For example, the $240,000 worth of jewelry and watches bought from a California jeweler, you could probably recover quite a bit of that. There was also art purchases and the like. But some
all
of
of
that
this
stuff,
is black market. There's no way they're going to allow a person to come in with someone else's credit card. I don't care if you're Kevin Hart or not, and buy watches and jewelry without going, give me some kind of ID. $240,000.
Oh, yeah. And
Come
wouldn't
on.
it say Kevin Hart
It
on
should,
it?
yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. Like, well, you're Jason Ellis. Who the Kevin Hart? You mean like the Kevin Hart? There's something.
Well, but
Oh,
they-
wow,
but
that
this
is a really
person-
good point. So
There's
they're in
no
on
way.
it. They're like, yeah, I'll sell it to you.
Fuck yeah. They
But-
probably got the credit card, probably just ran it on all black market.
look, I don't know how this stuff works, but
I
this
do.
person was at one.
I was going to say,
Clearly.
I know how
fucking
this
come to me. Sickler's got this one.
This person was authorized to make purchases on Kevin Hart's behalf using his credit card for some time. And when their relationship ended, it didn't end, it just sort of cooled down. They're like, okay, we're not working with you anymore, but we might in the future. They were fully aware that this person still had access to Kevin Hart's credit card authorization. They just assumed that this person wouldn't abuse it and then put pictures of this stuff on their Instagram page.
Yeah, see, that's just mentally ill.
16 bear brick collectible dolls?
How much are they?
I don't know. Probably a couple grand each. If you're gonna
What-
rip him off, don't buy collectible dolls.
This is how you know they're fucked up.
Yeah,
They're
wouldn't you
buying
buy
dumb
real
shit.
estate and be set for life?
Yes. Yes.
like buy a couple of
I
apartments.
say so probably bought a boat and other fucking money pits. It's
Also,
idiot.
5 Patek Philippe watches.
Oh yeah, no, I think Conor McGregor has one of those. I'm always surprised, not
5.
anymore because of the president, but I used to be so surprised that rich people were dumb. Now it seems to be almost, it's like a 50-50 chance you might still be a raging moron and you're just full of cash. I used to think that you had, I mean, that was a tag team effort. You had to have some wit to get the money.
I'm principle. I don't care how much money I make or don't make. It's all about principle. I hit my landlord, the fucking laundry machine the other day in our building. This lady will not put a credit card thing, and she's making us use quarters. I'm like, there's a coin shortage, right? Like, it's a pain in the ass to get quarters. I put these quarters in, and they didn't work. And I hit her up, and I'm like, you owe me 7 quarters. And she's like, are you for real? And I'm like, yes, I am for real. You know how hard it is to get quarters right now? And it's principle. I don't give a fuck how much money I make or don't make or you make. I know you roll in a Tesla. I'm not you, her, driving up in a motherfucking Tesla. I don't have a Tesla. Give me my 7 quarters. And she does not like me. She does not like me. She's like, I set your quarters at your door, and they're just a little stack of them out there. I'm like, thank you.
I mean, that is fair.
It's your shitty machine.
Yeah, it's your money.
It's 7 quarters, but it's not. It's principle. It's not fucking. What is it? $1.75.
I get that.
Really
a lot of money.
I'm a principal guy. I don't know if I'm 7 quarters give a shit guy, but I'm definitely principal guy.
It's happened a bunch though. That was the thing. It's
Okay.
not. It's a steady going thing with this lady.
It really is a motherfucker to get a stack of quarters right
It
now
is,
too.
man.
Yeah, they have.
Nobody wants to give them up.
Nobody. I think they're just trying to get rid of coins. I don't blame them. Let's just get rid of fucking coins. What do we need it for?
It's just round up or round down.
Yeah, we don't need the coins anymore.
What about the machines where you have
Just
to park and
cards.
it only takes coins only?
Let's stop using those.
I hate
Yeah.
them.
What about if until they get those fixed, those parking spots are now free?
Agreed.
Problem solved.
Agreed.
You're welcome, California.
Yeah.
Did you know that California is beating up Asian people more than ever, and that 50% of it is America is beating up Asians more than ever because of alleged, like when somebody who was in charge of the country was calling everybody Wuhan flu and shit. It built up a hate so now that American Asian people, more elderly, are being beaten, and now there's I'm trying to sign up for it. There's people that are escorting the fucking elderly to their destinations so that they don't get fucking beat up. And I was like, man, I want to sign up for that because I want to beat up someone who's trying to beat up an old Asian person.
Yeah.
And Katie was like, they're not going to come when you're there. And I'm like, that's the fucking
That's the
thing,
point.
isn't it? Like who beats up on just such a, God, that irritated me when I saw that.
There's this also, it wasn't racism, but it was a game in Baltimore these kids were playing called the knockout game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they would just go up.
So bad.
I mean, sucker punch. I don't care if you're The Rock. If you
Anybody.
get hit in the fucking temple from behind, you're
It's so
going
bad.
down.
Yeah. You could
could
kill somebody, man.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
Not to
people
mention
did
just permanent damage.
Because then they're limp and they're going down and cracking
Yeah.
their fucking head and
That's
everything
insane.
else. Yeah, it's insane.
Parents need to step up. That's what when I see that, I go, come on, mom and dad. I mean, even if you're on drugs, you got to talk some sense in your kids.
Yeah, for real.
Like, just give them a couple of words of wisdom. Holy shit. Because that kids that do that had no shot. That's how I see it. They just, your parents gave you no shot, and you're so angry that you'll even do something as disgusting as that.
Right. Ryan Sickler, you had every excuse to become a kid running around.
Yeah,
doing the
I did.
knockout
I'm
game in
surprised you
Baltimore.
didn't punch me in the back of the head when we were walking into the garage. Look at you.
Hey, look,
I had a fucking sniper on you across the street, bro.
he hasn't left yet. Let's keep our eyes on this guy. Yeah, you've done very, very well for yourself. You got your podcast, and you got. Is it bad if I say I'm just as intrigued, if not more so, by your Patreon podcast? As
No,
your real podcast?
I really love that show. I think it's something I really think I could take to a whole nother level. I'm just and that's the thing now is more and more people are hearing it and becoming comfortable enough to share stories.
Yeah.
I'm recording on Friday with a lady from, I think she said New Zealand, and she was a prostitute who was HIV positive because she knowingly had a gay boyfriend and had unprotected sex with him anyway. And then I think she said that they had an open marriage, so her gay husband and his gay friends would have her bring these dudes back and she would fuck them so that they could end up fucking them, and they all ended up becoming HIV positive, and now she's, I don't know, doing well for herself. So I was like, yeah, I haven't talked to anyone that's been openly admitted they were a sex worker, or definitely no one that's had HIV. So I'm interested to hear her story.
Dang.
No comedians coming on with that one.
No.
But I can't wait to hear their routine about it. That would be an angle. Do you ever have comedians that have routines that aren't true in any way at all, and you know it?
Yeah, when they come on and do their shtick, you can feel it. You know.
How do you feel
here's
about
what
that?
you said. You said, I know when you're being fake. Yeah. How do I feel about it? It depends on who it is. I'll explain that later. But
Why?
I'll explain that later. But
like if somebody,
I don't like that.
If somebody of a certain level gives you some of their
Nah,
routine,
different.
How do you feel about that?
If someone look, there's two ways to look at this, honestly. If you're doing your shtick from on stage, everyone knows it, not
Yeah.
just me.
Yes.
The audience is intelligent. They're going to know. Like, that's, other ways, or people will say, like, I talk about this in my stand-up, but then they'll tell the story. They're not doing the bit.
Okay.
The rehearsed,
Yes.
worked out story. They're telling you what happened. So that I like. But if you're giving me the same story I watched you tell word for word on Comedy Central or whatever, then get the fuck out of here with that, because you're not having a real moment with me. I want a real moment. Not that that's not a real moment, but that's a real moment for television and set up in a room with cameras and audience and everything else. What I try to create is a whiskey drinking, weed smoking table where we're just sitting down talking about, like, do you believe, like, where we are after the shit we've been through, and then you share that.
What about because to me, sometimes I would watch an interview with somebody that I'm going to interview to see what they're about a little bit more, if I don't know them especially. And one time I watched some interviews with Kevin Bacon before Kevin came on the show, just to see what kind of a celebrity he was, like how far can I push anything, or is it just, do we have to stay super corporate and just like ask him about the band and then get out of there? And he said something to the interviewer, and then he said it to me in my interview, which was a thing about how the hotel staff treat the Bacon brothers. He's got a joke that he says, and because I'd heard it in the video the day before, and then he did it in the studio, I was like, oh man, like Kevin Bacon sucks so bad.
It'd be different if he's like, I have this joke where it'd be different. But if you're just trying to slide it in, like you just thought of that shit, like get that fucking garbage
Dude,
out of here.
Get
that
I'm not
out
trying
of
to. Don't use this as a promo, but I swear that's what it's a little like. Hey,
It's
how do you
also
that?
like the other thing is I'm gonna go. My life is my life. You're gonna go on shows and tell the same stories.
Yeah.
Again and again, but hopefully the person you're talking to will ask you some different questions, or a
Right.
different take, or a different angle on that you can open up even more about that story, So yeah, get that fucking rehearsed shit out of here. Not for stand up, it's great, but that's not what this is.
I notice you have people back a lot. Is that
Yeah.
because that's not a thing that people usually do? They try to spread their guests out. You like if somebody's telling, because I think I saw Joey Diaz has.
He's different. I'm doing his life story for real. I really am doing his life
Oh,
story.
okay.
Yeah, and we are 9 episodes in, and I think we're still in the 80s.
Oh my god.
Wow. I mean,
He is something else. He is a library. And at the end of it, when it's all said and done, I told him, like, this is your story. You can take this, do whatever the fuck you want, cut your promo, whatever. Try to take this, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not here, like, I'm not there for that anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean anymore? So at one point you were career driven, and now you're just happy to be here.
First of all, I'm never just happy to be here. That's the one thing I hate when people say that to us. Like, well, there's no money, but, you should it's exposure. You should be happy to be here. Like, go fuck yourself. I earned this fucking seat. I earned this time I have on your show or your whatever. I'm not just happy to fucking be here. That's some fucking bullshit people want to throw you. Here's some free bread. Go fuck yourself. Heat it up. Give me some butter, you motherfucker. I'm not just happy to get your bread.
Right on.
But what I mean is, I guess when you're younger and you're hungry and you come from backgrounds like we do, I don't know. I didn't know anything about money. All I knew about money was hustle my balls off to get it so that I can pay bills and eat. I didn't know about investing or any. I didn't even have it to do any of that shit with. I'm just starting to get there. You know, I'm on the roller coaster with my hands, and we're not even over the hill yet.
Right.
But, you know, Joey's, like I said, he's different. I want you to come back. The reason I have people back is because the audience loves them so much. Like, you know, there's a certain, some people say, you should do this, you should do that. And I don't know what announcer it was that said, like, if you listen to the fans, you're going to end up sitting in the seats next to them.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
You're coaching this team, and you got to make the calls yourself. Right or wrong, they're yours to make.
Yeah.
Now, there are some things that people suggest that I think you should listen to.
Yep.
Certainly, and when it's a common theme, you know, they all want you to come back. Everybody wants a part 2 with you.
I told these guys that's the nicest people I've ever in the history of my podcasting. That's the most response and the most, I never heard of you at all, and you're fucking awesome. Replies that I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, wow, awesome. People. You know, a couple people in Australia hit me up saying, "Oh, mate, grew up watching you skate. Didn't even know you had a podcast. Just to know that this guy skated my home ramp with me in Melbourne, and 30-something years, Ryan Sickler notifies him that I am a podcaster.
That's nuts. I'm saying.
I'm like, holy.
That's what
shit.
I love about all this. You
Yeah.
can't do that with stand up. That doesn't happen in that world. You know, stand up is the drug, though. That's the heroin. That's the immediate, good or bad, you're getting an immediate fucking reaction. These, especially with the shutdowns and everything, we were recording 4 weeks ahead. There would be things I didn't even remember we talked about with certain people because I've done 8 shows since, you know.
You don't do that as much now?
I do. I try to stay 4 weeks ahead in case they put us on lockdowns again or anything like that, and we can't get there, or the numbers go up and people are uncomfortable coming in person. I try to stay ahead.
Okay.
But you know, I don't know. I love it. And it's not that I'm, you know, before I would have been like, let me executive produce and let me do this and that. And I told Joe I'm happy to do that if he wants me to do that. But look, this is your fucking story. Take it and go. There should be a movie about you or a series about you.
When I think about all the
like
movies
you
out there about people that didn't do anywhere near what he did. Yeah. I completely agree that that guy's got
it's a
movie.
story worth telling. Absolutely.
Got to get the right person to tell it, though.
Yes. He should narrate it and let somebody else act as him.
There you go.
That's what he should do.
He could still kind of do him, too, as well.
Yeah, when you get the current.
He's a funny character.
Him. He's unbelievable. But you as well. Like, so, yeah, I do have repeats on people who do well. But then also I like to bring someone who just has a great story that may not have the big following.
Well, that you did that for me.
Blend it in. Bullshit.
You did. I mean, dude, you're putting us on this podcast map. We're not on the podcast map. You made a big jump out of everybody. The biggest help that I've got.
I can't get it. It makes me feel so good.
Is you guys. It's you. Flat out. It doesn't have to be. It's not mysterious.
Let's break some more fucking firewood, bro. I'm pumped
you know
up.
what? Can you go next? My fucking head hurts. I was about to go, hell yeah, but I'm like, kind of, maybe
That's
not.
nice. Thank you. I'm glad, too. I'm glad that happened. Yours, I mean, how many people do you know that have the background you have? Probably none.
Yeah.
Probably none. You know, and also they may have been molested at 3 or whatever it was, but they sure as fuck didn't do what you did with your life and what you did with those experiences and how you're helping people with them. You know, it's crazy to think that guys that look like I can't tell you how many times people would pass on me in the industry and be like, oh, you're too frat. I'm like, you don't know you don't listen to me at all. I'm a dude that goes to therapy. I'm a single dad of a little 6-year-old girl. Like I always say that my favorite saying is I come in peace, ready for war. That's it. I'm here to be super cool with you. But if you want to go, all right, we'll fucking go. Like, I'm not scared of that at all. But I'll cry at a goddamn commercial. My daughter will say something to me like, oh, you know, made me Valentine breakfast the other day. I'm all emotional about it and shit. Like, man, I'm a fucking man.
And being okay with crying is knowing that you're less scared, in my opinion. Like, if you can't cry and you feel like crying, what are you so fucking scared of?
That's right.
Like, because you feel you're going to be less of a man if tears run down your face. That's ridiculous.
That makes you a pussy.
That makes you insecure as all hell.
That makes you a pussy. Yeah. And also, don't just sit there and be a bitch and sob and cry. Get the fuck up and walk forward. You can cry walking forward. Just do it.
Right. I always, because I feel people have said, man, because of the story, like, man, you must be so tough. You never give up. I'm like, I fucking give up like every day.
Yeah.
Like I cry and go, that's it. And then I wipe them off and I go, fuck that, man. Not today.
That's right.
But
and
there's definitely little pockets of, maybe I should just fucking let it all go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that hopefully you learn from those moments. Like, no, fuck that. Instead of staying there, and that's the difference between people like you and me and all these people that listen. I can't tell you how many people have hit me up and said that, they started going to therapy because I never set out to do that. Yeah. I just wanted to listen to people tell me about their fucked up lives and laugh about it, because that's what me and my family has suffered the same deaths and shit I have. So we all talk. At one point we had a family death pool. Like, we were just trying to do anything we could to keep light of here comes another death, a death. Like, holy shit. So Is
that what made you go to therapy? Or you were already going?
Well, I remember my father, when my parents first split, we did like a family therapy thing. And I don't remember much about it, but I do remember going and having to talk and talk about our feelings and shit. And then when my father died, I went for a while. And then I've continued to go on and off through life, from EMDR therapy, which Drew actually recommended. That changed my life.
Which one's that?
That's the one with the buzzers in your hand and shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
And then also just talk therapy is what they call that. But for years of it, I've done, because I know that I'm the common denominator in all my problems. So that means I've got to work on my shit. And if I'm not working on my shit, then us isn't going to get better.
Were you angry before therapy? Because being treated the way
I'm
you
still
were,
angry.
Right? But because I know, like, when you said I'm here for peace but ready for war, that tells me, because I have that thing. I'm embarrassed by it, because if you want to push me, I'll fucking show you hell, and it's embarrassing because it's like, you want to go here, I'll fucking show you. So everyone's gonna regret it, including me. Those are embarrassing things to me. Like, I would like to have more of a grip on those, and you seem like you have more, but just that one sentence where you're like, you are ready for war. I believed you. I didn't think that was a fake one, which means you are ready to throw down. If someone's offensive, you're ready to scrap. And a lot of people would justify
win
walking
or lose.
away.
I don't care. Win or lose.
A lot of people would prefer to walk away.
Have to. I will walk. Look, if it's bullshit, I'll walk away. But if there's no choice, then yeah, I'm going to go. I've been in so many fucking fights in my life that I'm over the fear of a stranger wanting to fucking kill me.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
But that tells me that you've been in a tough upbringing, because a lot of people are not used to having scraps every day. That's still, I mean, you sound like you think it's normal, but you know as well as I do that it's not normal.
It's not normal to have
Kids
as
are
many
supposed to just have like playtime and shit, not getting jumped and getting stabbed, like just constant
bar fights, all of it. I've been in all of it.
It's not fair for humans to go through that. I know it happens. Life's not fair, but I still don't think, because we're all kids in the end, and
that's
to know that we're all, well, here I am now, like this seasoned fucking salty asshole because the world is shaped. I'm like, fuck you, world. You're not shaping me, but it does. So, I mean, sometimes these bad things are almost, depending on who you are guaranteed. To me, it's a ticket to fucking glory. Like, every time something bad happens to me, I'm like, if you don't die from this, you're going to use this to be even better. So it's almost a unfortunate blessing. And I always
it is. Look, man, if you would have told me when I was 16, my dad had just died, like, hey, all the abuse, all this bullshit's going to be worth it. When you're in your late 40s, first of all, I'd have been like, how long I got to wait? When you're in your late 40s, you're going to have your own show and you're going to love what you do. And you're going to have Jason Ellis on and Tom Segura and Tommy Lee. And I would have been like, huh? It would have made it all worth it then, but you don't have the, ability of seeing the future. So I've had college professors reach out to me and tell me that my podcast is mandatory listening in their psychology classes and stuff. And I'm like, whoa. I've been asked to come and speak at engagements about.
Have you done it?
Laughing at. Well, it was during Corona, so it got killed. So they asked me to send in.
But you are going to do it.
They asked. I'm definitely going to do it in person,
That's
but they asked
awesome.
me to send in a video because of the virus.
Yeah.
So I did that. I sent that in.
That's
for 'em.
fucking awesome, man.
But I didn't know. I wanted to just talk to people who went through shit and have a positive spin on it and a great outlook.
It's such an inspirational angle. Like, I don't know if you meant it, but it's such
I meant
somebody
to
that
laugh
has this
at
rock
trauma.
bottom that can have a laugh on the end of it, tells every rock bottom out there, every bad time person out there, that you can flip this.
Yes, you can absolutely, but you got to work on it. And that's what you hear coming in with the healthy people is they have, like yourself, put the fucking time in. You got to put the time in. It's not, if we can just fix this person, we'll be good. No. That's the biggest problem you have right there because you're saying I'm perfect.
Yeah. No, it's constant.
It's
constant and it's done.
And 47-year-old me is not the same as 45-year-old me.
Yeah.
And 49-year-old me is going to be different than 47-year-old me. Like, if I met me at 17, I'd probably punch me right in the fucking face.
If 17-year-old me punched me in the face, I would knock me out so quick.
17-year-old me would punch me right back, too, bro.
You know what? 17-year-old me would not fuck with me.
Probably get an aluminum bat and break my fucking kneecap.
I remember when I was 17, I didn't fuck with dads. I always remember, don't fuck with dads. They'll fuck you up.
Yeah, the old man strength. Damn right. You forget about that.
Any dad, hey kids, stop fucking. I'll be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Fair enough, dude. Sounds good. I thought it many times. No, not even gonna say one thing. You win, Dad. All right. Oh, I feel like I've learned a little bit more about you. Comedy wise, you don't go, you can't. Pandemic. Are you stinging or are you? You're like, I got my fucking pods, I got my Patreon.
No, I'm dying to get back to stand up.
you are.
But I've got the antibody now, so I want to go get on some shows and do the thing. But here's the other thing. I'm not going out and taking reduced rates and everything. I earn my rates. If I'm not doing half the work, I'm not taking half the pay. The pandemic isn't my fucking fault.
Fair enough.
If you're only allowed
That's
to have,
happening?
Oh, a ton.
Isn't
if
that
you're only
bad
allowed to have
isn't that a comedian that does that? Doesn't he chop into all the rest of you by accepting that?
Yeah, but also these people right now need to just fucking live.
Okay. Yeah.
And how do you hate on somebody that makes? But you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. You know, if you're going to offer $1,000, you're going to get $1,000 comedian. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You're going to have a show, but you're going to get $1,000 comedian. Maybe people don't come back again. I don't know, but if you're only allowed to have 25% of people in there, and it's not my fault. If I'm the reason there's 25% in there, I should take 25% of my pay. But I'm not. So when the art form will always be there. I've done one show. I'm not worried about the art. Look, comedy has survived without George Carlin, Richard Pryor. I mean, Robin Williams. It's going to survive no matter what. It's going to survive. Will we? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm not going to go risk my life for, a few bucks. That's
Can you smell and taste yet? Because he got it in Christmas, you guys, and he can't smell or taste still.
Nothing.
Still,
I can taste a little, but it's also.
Is it coming back?
The taste is slowly coming. I'm starting to taste. I still only taste sweets, but I'm starting to be able to tell chocolate from fruit and shit like that. Because before it was all the same sweet. Tasted. I know what food texture is, but if I didn't have any knowledge, I couldn't tell you the difference between a fucking chocolate chip and a pineapple.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but I have no smell, and that's not coming back at all. It's been coming up 2 months. Yeah,
it'll come back.
It'll come back eventually. But again, if that's the worst thing that happened to me out of the coronavirus, with all these people who've unfortunately died,
Agreed.
I'm good on.
Yep.
I'll take smell over any other fucking sense anyway.
Yeah, I get it.
I
got a spot in my eye everywhere I look, especially in the sun. I see like this spot that moves around after Carl Kingsbury punched me in the face. This one fight that I had with him.
Still, you have it?
It's permanent.
It is?
Yeah.
It's something damaged inside?
Yeah, like retina tear or some stuff.
Fuck.
I went to the eye doctor and they were like, you can get some surgery. And I was like, I don't fucking care about the dot. Is it going to get any worse? No, like, nah. And I was like, well, then fucking,
good.
Just reminds me of what a sweet motherfucker you are. Fought a 6'7" UFC fighter. And you tried. I was like, I'm going to fuck you up. I was really thinking that. I was really wrong, but still. I respect myself for that.
Ryan, you got the Honeydew podcast. You got patreon.com/honeydew.
I'm not sure.
RyanSickler.com if you want to go.
Ryan Sick.
The Honeydew.
Thank you. RyanSickler.com and Ryan Sickler on all social media and everything you can find there for sure.
Thanks for being on the show, mate.
Thanks for having me. For real. This is great.
You're my favorite podcast buddy. I can't
Thank
believe I
you,
have
man.
it. Yeah.
I love it.
But if you're listening, you're a close second. I really enjoyed
Took a
that
long
FaceTime.
time from Molly Malone's. How long ago was that? That's got to be 4 years, maybe.
Do you know what? It feels like 3, so I'm going to say 8.
All right,
Man,
8.
that makes me regret not sticking with it. I would have been all right by now.
Yeah, I thought what you did was great, and you hadn't done much of it, if I remember right.
Yeah, I could tell from hanging out with Tully and those guys, like having a routine. I just never could convince myself of anything that I wrote down to repeat it. I just come from a radio world where I didn't like telling. Like I think I get away with telling the same story so much because I'm punchy. I probably don't remember the last time I told it, so it feels fresh again. I don't like saying it because it kills me to know that I'm going to say the same thing. But I can tell that you guys work on it to the point where it does stuff to the people, and now you're in control. And I'm like, oh wow, I totally get what you guys are doing. It just I feel like I also know how to get good at stuff, and it's like, don't be spreading yourself thin. Like I do a little dabble here, little dabble here. I'm like, if you're gonna go, you got to go 100%, and I just don't have the time for it.
You got nothing. You have no excuse now. I mean, you have nothing but an excuse right now. You're good right now.
I thought about doing it. Like I heard Brendan Sharp said he practices in his house and by himself, and I was like, what about if you just practice for a year by yourself in a room and had like fake? I got crowd like, hey. Fuck yeah! Everybody loves me.
Fuck yes in there. That guy really loved that joke.
That's from me in Boston filming a movie, and Sirius put me in a broken down store at the mall where we were filming the movie, and it was a table and a chair and an empty room.
To make sure you could get the show done.
So I kept doing the show while I was filming the movie, and fans came to the
live
broken down.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's me. That's me with 7 people that came to see me do the show.
That's great.
I fucking sat on carpet in front of them. I don't like. It sounds shitty, but I thought that was like
That's all. Those people.
Everybody was listening, and I was in this weird little shoe store that was closed down, and then every now and then I'd go outside and film in a fucking giant movie, and the hair and makeup. Well, not hair, but makeup. It was great. I loved it. All right, thanks for being on the show, dude. I'd love to be back on. You should come back on. We this is good. I like this. We're butt buddies for life.
I love it. Done.
All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Don't die.
Bing boing poing 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 boing 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 meow 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 fucking meow meow big fat boy, fucking boy, big fat boy, fucking boys, bing boing boing, fucking boy, bing boing big fat boy, fucking boy.